This is a video for how to go about understanding and utilizing the starting shape function in generative design in Autodesk Fusion. Before we start understanding what starting shape is and how to use it in generative design, we have to create a simple structure here in the design space. And to create the simple structure, we're going to click on Create Sketch. And I want you to click on the XY plane. And what that means is on my view cube, I want to see the word top. And we're going to go to Create. Let's go to Rectangle. Let's go to Center Rectangle. Let's click on the origin here. I'm going to drag out, and I'm going to go 4 inches by 4 inches. I want you to note that I'm just hitting the number I want for the dimension and then hitting Tab and hit the number again. I'm going to hit Enter. I'm going to hit E on my keyboard, and let's go ahead and make this 1/4 of an inch. Let's make sure it says new body over here in the operation, and we're going to say OK. We need to offset a plane next. We can go to Construct and go to Offset Plane, or I can just click on the Offset Plane icon right here. I'm going to click on the top of the body we just created. I want to drag up, and we're going to drag up 4 inches. And I'm going to hit Enter. Now we're going to create sketch on the new plane we just created. I can click here, or I can come over to construction and click on plane 1. When I click on that, notice this is going to turn. When I design, I like to come back up to my isometric view, and you can see we got the plane up here at the top. I hit the letter P on my keyboard, and let's go ahead and project that square from our first body, and we're going to say OK. And notice how I get the corners here. Sometimes if I want to go and do anything with the design, I like to have everything available to me. We're going to go to Create, and let's go to Rectangle, and we're going to go to Center Rectangle. I want to come in here and click on my origin and drag out, and we're going to go 2.5 by 2.5 for our square, and we're going to hit Enter. Let's go to Finish Sketch. Let's go to our house view. Let's hit E on our keyboard. We are going to click on the square in the middle here. We're going to go 1/4 of an inch. Let's make sure it says new body and say OK. Now, over in our browser, let's click the little arrow next to bodies. And notice how we have body 1, which is the bottom. We got body 2 is at the top. I like to name these for this function we're going to do. So for body 1, I want to tap once, tap again, and we're going to call this bottom. I'm going to hit Enter. For body 2, I'm going to tap once, tap again, and we're going to call this top. And I'm going to hit Enter. So we have for ourselves 2 separate bodies over here. Our next step is to create kind of a structural column in here. So we're going to go up to Create Sketch, and we're going to go ahead and just click on the top of the bottom body, and let's turn off the visibility of the top. We're just going to turn off the visibility of the top here. Let's go to Create. We'll go to Rectangle, Center Rectangle. Go ahead and click on that origin. And we're going to drag out. We did 2.5 for the top. We're going to go 1.5 by 1.5 for this. And let's say Finish Sketch. Let's turn on the visibility of the top. We're going to go to Extrude. Let's click on our square we created. And we're going to go where it says distance. We're going to go to 2 object. I want to rotate to where I can see the bottom of the top up here. We're going to click. We want to make sure this is a new body. Make absolutely sure that's a new body. And we're going to say OK. And we're going to tap once for the body over here, tap again. We're going to call this column and hit Enter. So we have our bottom, we have our top, we have our column. There's one more thing that we're going to have to do in order to create something called obstacle geometry when we get into generative design. Let's go and create sketch, and let's click on the top of our bottom here. I'm going to grab a hold of my house, and I want to hit the letter P, and I want to come in here and click on the top here, and I want to click on all the sides of our column, because we need to create an area for Fusion not to design anything for us. And I'm going to go ahead and say OK. And notice what we have now is we have these purple lines. And what that means is when I go to extrude here in a second, it's only going to extrude this area around the outside. It's not going to include the column. Let's say Finish Sketch. Let's go to Extrude. Just this outside area, we're going to go to Distance, go to 2 Object, and we want that to go just right up to the bottom here. Make sure this says New Body and say OK. Let's click on our house. We're going to go body 4 over here. I'm going to tap once, tap again. Let's call this obstacle and hit Enter. We now have everything we need. We can turn on and off what we might want. We have everything named correctly to make life easier for us when we start doing generative design, also known as GenDes. Let's go to Save, and I'm just going to call this column. You can call it whatever you wish. I'm just going to call it column. I'm going to hit Enter. Let's go to the design menu up here, this little tab, and we're going down to generative design. It's going to ask us, do you want to create a new study? And I do. And you get this brand new menu here. And if I wanted to edit anything with the model, I could click Edit Model, and I can create sketches and extrusions. You can do all different kinds of things with this. I don't need to do that. We're going to go to Finish Edit Model. The next thing we'll look at is the design space. And there's different things you have to tell Fusion about what you want to keep and what you don't want it to design into, and what you want to, and like what you want to have it modify. And so we're going to go to Preserve Geometry. And our the geometry that we want to preserve is the top and the bottom. We need to go over to our browser. We're going to click this little arrow next to Model Components, click this little arrow next to Bodies, and what we want to preserve is the bottom and the top. And what that means is I don't want Fusion to change any of this. Completely leave this alone. Do not do anything to it. And I'm going to say OK, and Preserve Geometry turns green. Next thing we want to do is obstacle geometry. And what I'm telling Fusion is I don't want you to design anything in this space. And our obstacle geometry under model components over here is what we called obstacle. And that was the last thing we did. And I'll turn off the visibility of some of these here in a second, but we only want the one that said obstacle. And we're going to say, okay, what I just told Fusion is I said, hey, don't design anything in this area here. Leave it alone. And I also told it with the green, you have to just leave this stuff as it is. It's not going to change at all with what we're going to do. The next thing we need to do is a starting shape. And the shape that we want Fusion to be able to modify is this column. So I'm going to go over and click on column. And when I say OK, or the menu is going to say, do you want to add or remove material, or what do you want to do here? I just want to just basically add or remove. I want you to design a column that's going to do what I want it to do. And I'm going to say OK here, and that's going to turn yellow. So we have obstacle around the outside, and we have for ourselves a yellow column. Fusion's going to go in and going to change some things with that column based upon what we tell it in the next menu here. So where it says design conditions, we're going to go down to structural constraints, and the structural constraint we want to place is going to be on the bottom of this little assembly we've made. We want to click on the bottom. That's going to be a fixed constraint. What that means is it has 0 degrees of freedom. It can't slide anywhere. It really can't go up or down. It is completely and totally fixed. It will not move. We're going to say OK. Let's go back up here to the top of our object, and we're going to go to design conditions, go to structural loads, and we're going to click on the top of our top body here, and it says force, and there's all these different things you can do with direction types. We can even flip the directions. We can change the units, which we are here. We're going to go down to pounds, and we have this little tiny object. We have this thing that's like at the base of it's just 4 inches by 4 inches. How much weight do we want this thing to be able to hold? So what I want to say is the magnitude that will be acting on this small object is going to be 10 pounds. We are going to see if this object can hold 10 pounds. And Fusion's going to design something for us that'll be able to hold that weight. And we're going to say, OK. That is the amount of force I have acting down on this small object. Next, let's go to design criteria and go to objectives. And the objective we want to keep is with minimizing mass. We want this to be as small as possible, but can still hold the weight. If we maximize stiffness, that might not take away material. It might just say, we're just going to make sure this is as rigid and as upright as possible. The safety factor means it can hold double whatever we put into it. So technically speaking, this could probably hold 20 pounds. So we can change the safety factor, to like, 1 2/3 if we wanted to. Sometimes that's a common thing to do. We're just going to keep it here. We're not going to get too much into modal frequency or displacement or buckling for the video. We're just going to say OK, because everything has a factor of safety. It's designed to hold more weight or more stress than it was originally designed for. Next thing we need to do is go into materials, and we're going to find what material do we want to make a study of. And we're going to go to plastic. And as we scroll down, we're going to see, there's a lot of different types of plastics that we can utilize here. There's even metals up here. What I would like to do, I have nylon that I 3D print with. We're going to drag up that nylon. There's not really a PLA in here that you can utilize. You can actually put different materials into here. You can design your own materials. One thing we'll do, just for the sake of the video here, let's go through here and try to find ourselves a little something different. I'm just gonna take this tough 2000. We need something that has a little bit more maybe of a tougher chemical bonding when we go through and make this, and we're gonna say close. So one thing we missed, I went from objectives to materials. Let's go to manufacturing. That's one thing I forgot to put in. Now, additive means 3D printing, and milling means we would want this thing to be cut out. I'm not going to do anything with milling, so I'm going to uncheck that box. I'm only going to keep with additive because we're going to say this is going to be 3D printed. And let's say OK. So now that we have everything across the board, I don't know if you noticed, we had this little check mark show up in the pre-check. Now we're going to click the pre-check, and it says the study setup has all the information required to go ahead and do a study. So we're going to come into here, we're going to go to generate, and we're going to create for ourselves a study. And you should see generate one study right here. Now I have a full educational version. If you have an unpaid version, you might not be able to do this, but you've been able to set everything up. If you can't find a generate one study, you might need to go up into your preferences and take a look at the tokens you have available to you in generative design. I'm going to click generate one study. and it's going to go ahead and start the study. Now you'll see it in the status here. It's, it's working. You're totally at the mercy of the cloud here. And I'm going to go ahead and just click my X and get out of this. And you'll see up here at the top, there's a thing that says explore, and it looks like a window that's kind of grayed out right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to wait for some of these solutions to populate, and we'll discuss what Fusion has done with our starting shape. So I've let Fusion go in and create some different designs that would, hold a structural amount, and some of it's still processing. And what I can do is I can go in and I can double click on any one of these solutions and see what Fusion has done, to that starting shape, that, just that rectangular prism. And notice how up in here, it's kind of curved in, and it's basically telling me that this should be able to hold the amount of weight according to the safety factor we have. And you can see how it's curved in the sides a little on the side view here. I can go to finish outcome view, and I can change how much. I can tell Fusion, like, hey, I only want ones that are the lightest possible, the least amount of mass. So I'm going to drag this over to here and say I only want ones to have this amount of mass, and I want the minimum safety factor. Notice how it gave me a massive safety factor when we designed it. It's basically telling me that your design is going to hold way more than what you asked, and it looks like almost all of them are going to deal with the safety factor very well. I can even talk about materials up here. I don't want one that's made out of aluminum. If you say don't show me anything with nylon, just show me the ones with this tough 2000 material. Or if I wanted a 3D print with nylon, I can say just give me the nylon ones, and I can try to 3D print it from there. We have the same manufacturing method. Our visual visibility is about the same. But as I double click on any of these, I can take a look and decide the ones that I might like to use. I can even compare them, with another one and put them next to each other and give myself like some kind of a visual similarity and try to pick which ones I would like to use. So, the concept of the video is just understanding what starting shape is and how Fusion takes that starting shape and will modify it based upon the desired outcome we have for the criteria that we gave it. So I'm going to go to finish outcome view here, and I'm just going to pick one just for the sake of, discussion here. I'm going to say, I kind of like this one. And what I can do is I can go to design from outcome. And if I click on this, it's going to say preparing a design. And automatically you'll see right here, there's a generative model. And it's going to go in and create that generative model for me. Now it's sending it, and we're trying to find what it's going to look like once it gives it to me. So once you find one you like, you go to design from outcome, and I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to wait for my outcome to my final design to be created. And we're going to open that up in Fusion and take a look at it. So after going in and, telling Fusion that I wanted to design from outcome, the design is done. And I'm going to go to open design. And when I go to open design, you'll see now it's loaded into the main design menu. I can kind of drag this around, and there's my completed design. And now that I have this, I can come right up here and right click and go down to save as mesh and 3D print it. And, based upon the amount of infill and the settings that you place, within whatever your slicer is for your 3D printer, which I've generally tried to go around 50%, 20 to 30 can be a little bit flimsy. It depends on the material. Nylon, I print with a little bit more infill than, let's say, PLA or something like that. But you can go ahead and print this and run your test and see if it held the amount of weight that you specified in the generative design. So note again, that starting shape, that we have, we only have one body right now, but notice how Fusion went in and took that starting shape and changed it and modified it based upon the amount of weight that we asked for this particular structural component to hold. So that is how you go about utilizing, starting shape within Autodesk Fusion. There's a lot of value given to generative design, and I encourage you, as you learn how to use Fusion, just to do some trial and error, do some experimentation, and try to find out what works for you. You can do a lot of neat designs. You can save money on the amount of filament you use, and let the AI and the algorithms of Fusion do some of this design work for you. So this has been a video for how to go about understanding and utilizing a starting shape in Autodesk Fusion's generative design.